Hey, welcome to my channel. Thanks for clicking on my video. I've got a really good interview today with Shane from Stargaze. Stargaze is an application specific blockchain that houses the Stargaze marketplace, which is an NFT marketplace, launchpad, and all things NFT. This video is not going to be quite the same as some of the previous conversations that Shane's recorded. I'll link those down below. I got a bunch of yes or no questions. I've got some questions about features of the platform, but a lot of this conversation will revolve around questions that came from my Telegram community. So this will be really interesting. There were some creative questions there. And if you want to join my Telegram, get involved in the question asking process, have one of your questions or some of your questions asked on these types of conversations, just join. I'll put the link down below. And while you're at it, I would appreciate it if you would like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And along with the other links, I'll put everything related to Stargaze that I've done on my channel linked down below. So let me bring Shane in. Shane, thanks for doing this. Really appreciate it. A lot of people that watch my channel are big fans of the Stargaze platform.
Awesome, man. I can't believe I'm talking to the actual Joe from Joe's Zone.
We could talk about that at the end, but yeah, the NFT collection with my face, both of them were on Stargaze. So, if you don't mind, I want to just start with some quick questions that are only yes or no, and then we'll get into the more deeper conversation. First question: do you personally shop frequently on the marketplace for NFTs?
No.
No. Okay. Have you actively tried getting stars listed on a centralized exchange?
No.
No. All right. Do you think in the next year or so, some of the other NFT platforms connected to Cosmos will affect the adoption or volume on Stargaze?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. And then last yes or no questions. Are there distinct advantages to deploying an NFT marketplace on its own blockchain?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'd actually like to hear about that a little bit during this conversation. So, um, why don't we start with that, if you don't mind? Why don't you explain the reasoning for putting Stargaze on its own blockchain rather than deploying on an existing blockchain that already has users, volume, and a token that's distributed?
Yeah, sure. So I guess first it's important to realize that um, although Stargaze is just a NFT focused chain right now, it may not be the same way, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, right? The way Stargaze operates is a bit more like a startup because I come from a Web 2 world where you would build a product, you achieve product market fit, and then you continue to iterate and develop it, and kind of grow along with the community, kind of grow along with the market. So that's kind of how we operate at Stargaze. And the NFT marketplace is something that we started with, and is something that a community wants, and we're trying to make it the best possible one. Now, to answer your question on why it needs its own chain, right? If you look at Ethereum, if you look at Solana, they already have kind of like the major players in their ecosystems, right? They're already kind of saturated in a way. And when we started building Stargaze, outside of Terra, like NFTs weren't even a thing on Cosmos, right? And what attracted to me to Cosmos in the first place was kind of the app chain model, the app chain thesis, right? So you can kind of build kind of a tailor-made chain for the kind of product that you're trying to build, right? So, for example, NFT minting and NFT marketplaces. Somewhere down the line, there could be like unique ways to maybe like capture MEV and stuff like that, and these kinds of problems can be solved when you have an app specific chain, right? Like
Got
we
it.
can go into
Heard
like
that before.
Tendermint.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We can make changes at the consensus layer, right? Can make changes at the wallet layer. right? It's kind of like, if you look at Apple, um, the reason why Apple products have really great like user experiences because Apple they make everything from the chips all the way to the front end and the UI, right? So they can kind of create like a really nice tailored experience. So that's just kind of like the high level of it, right? We can
Got
make a
yeah.
better NFT marketplace than someone else that's tied to another ecosystem.
So is it fair to say that then you could optimize the chain itself easier when there's one app built on top of it, right? Is that fair to
Exactly.
say? And then
Yeah,
in
that's
the
fair to say.
future, you could build other apps that go along with the main app, and maybe a lot of the app specific chains right now won't be app specific train chains in the next year or two, right? As they
Yeah.
need kind of complementary apps, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Jameson Figment he coined the term dad bod chain, and I think that's the direction where app specific chains are moving in. They're going to be more dad bod chains, or so. I think some people call them sector specific chains as well.
Okay, that I mean that sounds good. I mean that sounds like some traditional finance terms that will get people comfortable coming into Web3 maybe. Well, like I mentioned before, people love the platform. Like everyone I talk to, they love minting on Stargaze, and for a lot of people, it was their first NFT experience, right? Because Cosmos, there was Secret and Terra, there were NFTs, but I think Stargaze is the Cosmos ecosystem dedicated NFT chain or NFT marketplace right now, and people love using the platform. What what do you think is the most recent feature that for the user, for the buyer, not the creator, um, has made their life easier or more enjoyable dealing with the marketplace or the minting process?
I would say trade filtering probably is the most recent feature that people seem to like a lot because you can kind of narrow it down to exactly what NFT you want to get. If you want to get a particular type of Joe, or you want to get a particular type of bad kid, like you want to get one with a green shirt or whatever, you can go find exactly what you want. And then we also have these like bulk tools you can do after you found a certain type of NFT or group of NFTs from a collection. Like you can like um, bulk buy or bulk list and do all these kind of things with those.
I have a hard time making videos to keep up with all the changes, but I do have a couple of recent videos showing people how to get stars, move it over, buy NFTs. But yeah, I think I'm overdue for a up to date Stargaze feature tutorial, and I know the name service is coming. Right? Can you
Right.
explain that? Can you? Okay, I heard at least one or two spaces where it was discussed, um, the purpose of the name service and how it's going to look.
So I think a name service for Stargaze. Well, it makes a lot of sense for Stargaze, but I think it also makes a lot of sense for the Cosmos ecosystem overall. But the reason it makes a lot of sense for Stargaze is because right now we have issues where a creator would launch a collection, does really well, and then someone might come and launch a copycat one and pretend that it's from that that creator, right? So we recently had this issue with Creator Geo, right? Um, a name service allows a creator to associate their name, um, like a username, with their address, and they can also link it and verify it with Twitter, right? So now it just kind of adds this layer of accountability. So now you're browsing collections, you can see who created it, you can kind of pop into the Twitter, see who they are, and so forth. And it has this kind of like really kind of fun social element to it, right? So now you're looking through NFTs, you can see who the previous owner was. You can kind of look at the provenance, you can see what happened over time, and it's kind of fun. It's like, oh yeah, I'm buying this NFT that Joe used to own, and now I'm going to do this other thing with it and stuff. And it makes it a lot kind of a more social experience.
I think
So
that's true. I
that's
didn't I didn't think about that because I've been wondering how it's possible to have a creator build their reputation, right? Without necessarily having to dox themselves, right? But if they have a, if they have their longtime Twitter, right? Maybe that's connected to OpenSea somehow. Now that they have a Stargaze name service, it's the right artist or the right team behind the collection. That's definitely a an obvious use case, and I didn't even think about that. I was thinking more in terms of peer to peer exchanging NFTs. Does the name service make that a little bit easier rather than hunting down someone's wallet address? Could I just send an NFT by name to somebody else?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's another thing that makes it a lot easier. You can just type in Joe.stars or whatever instead of the whole address. So
got it.
that makes it a lot easier.
Because one of the side apps, I guess that's what I would call it, Pegasus. It's a peer to peer NFT swapping app. Will the name service be compatible there, or will it only be within the Kepler wallet or the Stargaze page?
We're making it as open and generic as possible, so anyone can use it. So
Got
so
it.
so anyone build it, any contract that's built on Stargaze can use it. We're also building an API for it, so any wallet can also use it.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
and we're already working with Leap, Omni, Skiff, and a bunch of others to add support for it.
Cool. Cool. Any this is tough in Cosmos, right? Cosmos doesn't have that like powerful marketing behind it, like I would say Polkadot, Cardano, Ethereum, Solana are really good at. Is it hard for you to appeal to people outside of the Cosmos ecosystem? Are you mainly focused on who's using Cosmos right now, even though, you know, action is dwindling just due to the market conditions? What do you guys have in terms of plans to, I guess, appeal outside to the, I guess, the outside world, the non-interoperable world of crypto users?
Oh, totally. I mean, growing beyond Cosmos has always been part of our plan. And the way we were thinking of going to market is, launching with Cosmos first, right? Like, really getting buy-in from the ecosystem, and going after crypto native folks first, right? People who know how to use wallets and so forth. And the reason we kind of took this approach is that before Stargaze, we were working on this. Um, so Stargaze actually pivoted from this thing called Stakebird, which was more like this decentralized Twitter kind of thing we were building.
Okay.
And at that time, this was two years ago. It was just me, Jake, and Jorge at that time. We were working on this thing, and while building that, we kind of realized that uh, the native content type is an NFT, and we need to build NFTs, and that's how that kind of led us in the direction of building Stargaze. Um, but I kind of I lost my train of thought. I missed the question that you asked actually.
Just about appealing to people
Oh, right.
outside. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So while building Stargate, I mean, while building Stakebird, we were trying to make it appeal to a wider audience. So you didn't even have to have a wallet. You just logging from Twitter, and then you start to use it. And we actually had like a custodial wallet, kind of abstracted all that stuff from the user. But then we had like native crypto people who were using it, and they didn't like it. It was just like doing too much for them, right? Like they didn't even realize that they already had a wallet, and it already automatically like created it for them and stuff. Um, so then we kind of realized it's very hard to make. If you try to appeal to too many groups at once, you end up making this kind of Frankenstein product. Uh, so that's kind of what led us in the direction of, let's focus on crypto native first. Let's focus on Cosmos first, and let's like really nail that experience. And then after we nail the experience, then we can move on to other systems, other ecosystems, build bridges to other ecosystems, and start kind of adapting the wallet interface a little better. Add fiat on ramps and so forth, and make and gradually kind of expand from there.
Got it. I did notice osmosis added very sneakily a fiat on ramp. Have you looked into something like that? Because that definitely, I think it'd be a leg up, you know, as far as just making it easy for people. Just don't even need a centralized exchange listing at that point.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we've been talking to the same people. We've been talking
Cool.
to Transact, Nova, Cado, and we're also working on that.
Got it. All right. My last question before I get to the community questions has to do with NFT staking. Um, I hear people asking about it all the time. I don't really know what NFT staking if it's the same thing for everybody, right? I don't even like staking for NFTs. So I was talking to a creator today and he wants to implement some kind of NFT staking once DAO is upgraded. And I said, "Well, what do you mean staking?" And he's like, "Well, I want people to be able to vote with their NFTs, right? So I guess they would lock it either in a smart contract or maybe it would kind of snapshot the wallets where the NFTs are located, give that address some privileges. Anything resembling NFT staking, has that been explored on Stargaze specifically?
Yeah, so we announced, I believe, in March of last year that we're working on NFT staking. But the thing is, we kind of wanted to do it right. The reason we haven't done it yet is because the way NFT staking works right now in Ethereum and other ecosystems is that you just lock your NFT up for a period of time,
Yeah,
and you just earn yield in some governance token, and and is not really connected to proof of stake or anything like that, right?
right,
So
right.
this is kind of where the app chain kind of model comes in too, because the way we're doing NFT staking, we're calling it super cooled NFT staking, is where is tied to proof of stake. So you pretty much just like you charge up your NFT by adding tokens to it. So you add stars to it, and then you can stake it on a validator. And when you stake it on a validator, you earn regular proof of stake yield. It's just like just staking regular staking tokens. Um, but in addition to that, you earn extra yield up to the floor price, and that comes from a separate pool that we set aside for this for this
Oh wow.
incentive.
Well, then this that actually sounds like staking, right? You're using your NFT. You need some of the layer one stars tokens, and then you get some value. You know, floor price is probably the only thing that you'll get everybody to agree on, right? Even though it fluctuates, the floor price is the price of most NFTs in every collection. So you're gonna get like a boost, I guess, to what you're already staking. Is that a good way to think of it?
Yes, exactly. It's like a
Yeah,
little boost to your staking, and also it like increases activity at the floor, right? So like right now, if you want to kind of buy and sell, people try to find the high value ones, right? And the floors are just kind of like not used for much. But this kind of like brings value to the floors, because you may not want to stake something that that's incredibly rare, because you're only going to earn yield up to the floor anyway, right?
that's
So
true.
this is kind of going to bring a lot more volume to the floor, I think.
Got it. Yeah, and you know what? That's where most of the volume should be. What I
Mhm.
see is, I think, it's what you mentioned. I see people hunting through like the highest rarity NFTs quite a bit on if I'm going on Hubble or even just on Stargaze, it's almost impossible to find a deal, right? Because people are so good at sniping these NFTs if they get mispriced, especially if they're rare.
Totally, totally. Yeah. So very excited to launch that feature. We're also launching DAOs, and these are going to be staked inside those DAOs.
Right. So there'll be DAO tooling on Stargaze for this.
Yes. Yes.
Got it. So basically, NFT collection launch on Stargaze, the DAO tooling will be there, the staking function will be there, and then I guess it's up to those individual project creators to see how they want to leverage the features to just benefit their own project. Or I think of it as just organizing your community a little bit better. I think Discord is very limited. Um, you know, you, Discord gets you kind of up into the mint, right? And then after that, the Discord activity definitely like takes a dip. now you could organize just your holders using some kind of DAO tooling. Is that the idea?
Yeah, that's kind of the idea, and also it could be used for certain other purposes. Like for example, you can divert all the mint revenue to a DAO. You can divert all the royalties to a DAO, and then you can make the project kind of more be like collectively owned, and then all the holders of the NFT can vote on what they want to do with those funds.
I mean, it sounds good. You're adding utility to NFTs, but at the chain level, basically, right? So it gives creators a reason to, deciding what marketplace. Stargaze is going to have a big leg up, I think, on some of the other chains. And there are lots of chains with NFTs that weren't, when Stargaze had their Genesis mint, right? There was no Evmos. There was um, Omniflix may have had NFTs, but it's just a different kind of atmosphere over there. And then you got a couple other chains as well that have Juno and Territory most recently. So I think this will be big for creators. It takes a lot of the stress out of the organizing of the community as a holders.
Totally, yeah, and people are probably going to use it for things we haven't even thought of yet, and
I
that's what I'm most excited about.
All right. I've got some community questions. Most of the people that are in my Telegram are NFT collectors, like I am. They participate in giveaways, and then they used to DM me, "Hey, can you ask so and so this? Could you ask so and so this?" Now I've kind of organized it to where they could submit questions. So all the questions from here on out will be from the community, and then at the end, I have some like off the wall questions for you that I just thought of today. So first question from the community. This has to do with the fact that you could put a collection bid out, and you could basically lowball the collection, and the button is really easy to click. So it says, I was just wondering if Stargaze has anything um, planned to include an option where a holder can decline the low auction bids, because I could see how on the phone or moving quick, it's a little bit easy to click that low offer.
So let me get the question a little clearer again. So who would decline it? Like the creator of the collection,
Not the
or
creator, I guess the holder, you could maybe turn off the from seeing the lowball collection offers.
oh, okay. So right now, when you try to when you do a listing now, there's a new sell now feature, right? And the sell now feature surfaces the highest collection offer. So we're hoping that because it surfaces the highest one, that it'll encourage people not to like add lowball bids, and like the lowball ones won't be surfaced as as much in the UI.
Got it. Okay. Um, Next question is about analytics tools. Is there any ETA for even more price analytic tools native on the Stargaze platform? And then they added, I would really appreciate a last sold for feature displayed in stars, and whatever the US dollar amount of the sale was at the time. So anything like that.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, yeah. Would be totally open to adding that. But in terms of analytics tools, so right now, a lot of people don't know about info.stargaze.zone. You can go to info.stargaze.zone, and it has volume history. It has a lot of the kind of volume data that you also get from Hubble. And then it has like sales history, wallet history, and a lot of that we're going to be bringing into the main site. So it's a little tricky because right now a lot of people like the main site because it's very simple, it's not very cluttered, it doesn't have too many buttons everywhere, and we had to be kind of really careful because the more things you add, the more cluttered it gets.
Yeah.
um, so we're kind of being a little careful about how we kind of bring in these features into the main site. But yeah, some of this data is going to be coming in. we're also we have a data team now, and they're also working on um, creating these real time graphs and real time charts of the data. So eventually, that stuff will be landing either as its own site or coming into Stargaze.
Got it. So I guess this is what they meant. So they would see like a history of, you know, what it was sold for, and they could go backwards in time. Yeah, I mean, this is useful, but I guess when the Stargaze name service is here, instead of seeing wild addresses, you'll see people, right? So I'll
Exactly,
say, "Oh,
and that'll
look,"
be so fun.
it'll be a lot of fun. Like, "Oh, look, Don Kryptonium got ripped off. He sold this NFT, and then the next person sold it for triple." That'll be that'll definitely be fun. All right, no, that's cool. I like looking at all the numbers. It just like it makes the hunting for NFTs a lot of fun, and I think it definitely drives volume. I mean, it has to drive volume because it turns it into like a science, and I think a lot of crypto people would identify with that. All right, next question is about a swap feature. It says, is there a plan for a native swap feature? It would be amazing to have a pay with whatever type experience on Stargaze.
The answer to that is yes. We are working on an AMM, and hope to launch that um, sometime towards the end of the year. Well, the end of the year is approaching very soon, so maybe a little early next year. And yeah, and that'll just make onboarding a lot easier, right? So if you're coming from a centralized exchange, you have Atom or USDC. It'll make that onboarding a lot faster.
Oh, I
So
think that's smart.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. I know you mentioned this a little bit earlier, but besides the name service, are there any other plans to help deal with the issues of NFTs mimicking um, other collections or copyrighted IP? Any checks and balances to be able to filter these out?
Yeah, so, ideally, we don't want, the team to be sitting there all day and looking through everything that's coming in and filtering stuff out and all that kind of stuff, right? This is a kind of a community-owned project, right? We wanna be able to build tools for the community to be able to do this kind of stuff. So we recently launched, a flagging feature. Now if you go to an NFT, you'll see, like, a little shield icon, and you can click on there um, if you want to mark an NFT as spam or whatever. So that's going to help us a lot. And I think one thing to really understand is that we want to make the protocol as permissionless as possible, right? So then
Right.
anyone can come and launch anything they want. But the website is a little different, right? Stargaze.zone um, is a website that's owned and operated in the U.S. and it has to conform to certain like regulations and so forth, right? There's certain like illegal content that it can't show and stuff like that. So the website does have its like own kind of layer of filtering, um, but then the blockchain kind of has its own layer as well, right? So someone can make an alternative version of Stargaze with a different UI that shows different content, for example. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah, but we do want to, create tools kind of to make the moderation um, uh, a bit simpler, and just provide more powerful tools for that.
Got it.
Um,
So what you're saying is possibly, let's say there's a bunch of people out there who they're going to vet certain NFT projects. They can make their own UI and just display the ones that they have maybe, or someone like me has done interviews with the creators or, um, you know, um, something like that, right? So the alternate UIs, there's no way for you to be able to have that in control. You're just worried about the official Stargaze Zone website. Is that right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I'm surprised more people haven't done this yet, right? Like if you look at Ethereum, OpenSea is just kind of one view of it, right?
Mm.
Then you have Looks Rare, that's like another view of it. Right now, Stargaze.zone is kind of the main site. You also have Hubble, right? But you can totally someone else could totally launch like a different website that has their own kind of curated kind of experience.
Right. And I guess like these, I see these little um, kind of, I would call them boutique launch pads, right? Knots was doing it. ONFT is doing it. I think IBC NFT is doing it. They could create their own UI, direct people there. They could have
Totally.
their own analytics and whatnot. No, it, how what is launched like very beginning of April, very or end of March, something like that, and hasn't even been a year. How many collections have launched so far?
In terms of collections, I think it's over 800 now. Yeah. And we just crossed the 1 million number for the number of NFTs on it.
So I mean, it's a lot, and you guys are still pretty new. But I know everyone that I talk to, especially with with the collection that was done of me, it was just so easy to mint. It was so cheap to mint. It goes on the launch pad. Everyone can find it so easily, and then the secondary market is just really a lot of fun to play around on. That's I think I like the secondary market better than the minting. And Stargaze is just a really fun secondary market.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, we're always trying to make it better, and there's a lot more coming.
All right. What about other marketplaces? Do you consider them competition? Are there some forms of collaboration between different platforms?
Right now we're pretty much focused on Stargaze and what we're building. We do look to other marketplaces for inspiration, right? So we look at their UI, we look at their UX, their analytics, their data, and see like how we can bring some of that stuff to Stargaze, right? So we're always kind of playing around with Magic Eden Foundation looks for like Blur, all this other stuff.
Got it. What about within Cosmos? Any collabs between you, Omniflix, Territory, Orbital Market, anything?
I think that stuff will happen after the IBC transfer stuff is enabled. So so we helped build an implementation of the ICS 721, which is this IBC NFT transfer protocol. And I think after that's in production, then we'll start seeing some more interesting stuff. It's just that right now you can move NFTs from chain to chain.
Right. And just to be clear, that token standard will allow I mint something on a different chain, but I want to sell it in Stargaze Marketplace. This is completely foreign to every other ecosystem out there, right? So if someone's watching this, yes, it looks like we'll be able to move NFTs from chain to chain, and then pick the marketplace where we want to sell them. Maybe even mint from multiple blockchains and then move them onto a third blockchain, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I'm like very excited to see what people will build because you can kind of build like a meta game or something on top of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so you can take like the unique advantages of one chain and kind of build like this kind of like meta experience on top of it.
No, it's interesting. And then you'll have people arbing between NFT marketplaces, which I've done on Cardano when they had like four marketplaces at the same time. The prices were all different and the liquidity is low. If you're pretty quick, you can make money just moving them around the marketplaces. This will be the same kind of thing, except completely separate, independent blockchains that just happen to be interoperable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool.
All right. I appreciate you answering all the questions from the community. I got three more questions for you, not related to what we talked about, and then we'll wrap it up. First question: what's your favorite personal favorite collection since the Genesis Mint? Not counting those 15 original projects.
See, if I answer this question, then all the ones that didn't say are gonna DM me and bug me and ask me
That's
why I
true.
didn't pick them.
All right. Well, let me ask it a different way, um, or maybe you'll run into the same trouble. Is there a collection that you thought didn't get enough attention, either when it was minting or even now? You're surprised that it should have gotten a lot more fanfare? Or is it just hard to compete with these Genesis collections?
So my personal taste in art is generative art, right? So is when you design an algorithm and the algorithm like builds the art for you or creates the art for you. So I think I really like Public Works and the Helio project by Stuart Bracken. I think that should have got more attention, um, because there's just so much cool stuff going on behind the scenes. So like when you mint, it actually like takes the time of the mint and it takes some other data about you and it creates like a unique piece of art. I think that stuff is a little underexplored.
So that's
And
created as the mint is going on, each individual NFT?
yeah, exactly. So it's not like, someone uploads all this data to IPFS and then
Right.
mints one at a time. It's just, it actually creates it in real time, which
When
I
I
think
when
is
I
pretty cool.
first started minting NFTs, I thought that's what was actually happening. I'm like, "Oh, this is cool. It's making the NFT. I'm gonna click it." No, that was already created. It's basically uploaded into a cloud, and then you just get what you get, right? And
Yeah.
it used to be that you could, if you could see the next one coming, so you could choose not to mint it, wait for that one to go, and then mint the one behind it, right? But you guys were able to fix that.
Yeah, yeah. We were able to fix the random minting. And that was kind of hard to do, right? It's not easy to do randomness on a blockchain because you have like these hundreds of nodes running and they all have to agree on the randomness at the same time. So that's why that took a long time to build. And you have all these people on Twitter. It's like, oh, Stargaze can't build random minting. How come they don't have it yet? Right? It's a very complex thing to build.
All right. My last question is actually about Cosmoverse, which was, several weeks ago. I wasn't there. I watched some of the lectures. Who do you think had the most interesting Cosmoverse lecture, and why do you think so?
um, Let me think about that. I think it was like a panel or talk by Sei Protocol, SEI. I think what they're doing is pretty interesting. Um, they're like hyper optimizing a chain, um, and they have like this kind of like parallel version of Cosmwasm, which is going to enable contracts to kind of talk a lot faster. They have like an order book engine, and I think some of the newer kind of chains coming to the ecosystem, I think, are very interesting.
Got it. Yeah, I'm having a hard time keeping up. I'm having a really hard
Yeah.
time keeping up with what's coming. If you could poach one dev from another chain, bring him to Stargaze, who would you try to get?
Oh man, that's a hard question. There's so many good devs, and there's new ones every day.
Let's say you had your number one draft pick, you got to pick whoever you wanted to come to Stargaze and
I'd
work
probably
for free.
say I work for free. We probably won't do it, but I mean, it'll be awesome to have someone like Larry. Larry is, he's just an amazing developer,
I got
and
to talk to him once on Spaces. He's really cool.
yeah, I mean, he's working on so many things at once, and he writes really great code.
Cool. All right. Well, I really appreciate it. Like I said, I know it's not easy to coordinate these things, but I'm sure the community is going to love hearing from you. Um, I'll link everything down below, including some of the recent stuff that you've done on other channels. And yeah, thanks a lot, man. It was really nice to meet you for the first time.
Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, thanks so much. It was good. Yeah, good to meet you too.